Nothing is really bad if you give it a fresh perspective, if you give it new insights, if you think about it like for a second. So many of us still believe that Satan is an evil person. Satan is bad, Satan is this, because that's the story that we've grown up being told. That's what we're told. That's what all of us think, that probably if something goes wrong, if someone does something that we think is not good, we're going to say that's Satan. But you ever thought about it that when you read the scriptures, when you read the books, they will actually tell you nothing happens if God doesn't know. So even probably what you call that Satan attack, God knows that it's happening. Like nothing will ever happen in this world if God doesn't know. Like God knows what you're going to do. God knows what you're going through. God knows whatever you're going to go through. God knows whatever probably what you're going to pass through. So where does Satan come from? You get what I'm saying? Because if God knows that these things are going to happen, then why does Satan exist? And people are probably in situations, they are still like in that kind of denial. You're denying things. You're denying, actually, you're even denying God, because you are God. Because the moment you be like you're in a situation and you say that Satan has caused this, meaning you've taken away your power. You've taken away God's power. Remember, God controls everything. So whatever happens in our life, God has control. So if you give Satan authority, you've taken away God's control. Imagine if something good happens, something good's going to happen, and you'll be like, oh, God has done this, thank you, God. And something that you're going to call bad is going to happen, and you'll be like, oh, that's the devil, that's Satan. Meaning you're taking away God's power. And we're not supposed to do that. Like, this is a loop. This is something that probably we've been told like all our lives. It used to confuse me also as I was growing up, but you grow up and understand some of these things, that the Satan, devil, whatever, that it doesn't exist. That's why some people even tell you God doesn't exist. It's okay for them to think that way. But then if you think probably God doesn't exist, then I don't know what you're going to look for. Because everything has a source. At least if you don't believe that God exists, you know that everything has where it's coming from. Like in the beginning, there was God, there was word, such things. So such thing is going to exist. So probably if you don't believe in God, you're going to believe in science. And science, they'll tell you energy, like atom and stuff like that exists, like the first particle exists. So that's the same thing someone would be like, that's God. Look at the things that probably are happening in the world right now. There is the Israel and Iran war. Do you think that that's Satan or God playing that role? Because all those are people that are playing it out. Do you think God knows, or God doesn't know what's happening? The people that are in that war know what's really happening, and they'll also tell you that's God. Like God is fighting Israel to come and tell you they're like God's chosen nation. They'll be like they're defending themselves probably from Iran. You get what I'm saying? So they'll claim that God has told them to defend themselves from Iran, and they'll fire whatever they are firing. You get what I'm saying? So this thing whereby we still give authority to some other thing, we still give authority to something else, that's where we lack in so many things. Because if good things are going to happen, you're going to say that's good. Things that you're going to call bad are also going to happen, and they're going to be like that's Satan. You get what I'm saying? So meaning you're still in denial, you're conflicting these things. And remember, nothing will ever happen if God doesn't have control. These are things that confuse us, and these are things that keep us in the loop. These are things that keep us from finding out who we are. Because who you are is God. So everything that's going to happen you just have to ask yourself, why is it happening? You look at that war, you'll be like, okay, why are there wars in the world? Some of us, these are questions we used to ask. Why are there wars in the world? Because if people wanted peace, people would sit on a round table and see probably their differences, and see how they're going to come to terms to it. But people don't want peace. Actually, you'll even look at probably some of the lives we're living. We are not really ready to live those lives because we are so used to that life. Something new sounds like something new sounds foreign. Something new sounds like it's impossible. And God tells you everything is possible. So if you want to if you're looking at things like, let's say you're still confusing those things like the devil, Satan, and all these things, I want to tell you this, that all of those things are the same. It's God, and God is in those people. So the God in them is telling them to do whatever they are doing, and they are going to blame it on the devil. They are going to blame it on Satan. It's people doing those very things, and in some cases, people know what they are doing. You could look at those wars. The people that are behind those countries, the people that are benefiting off those missiles, people that are benefiting from all those things. If the devil or evil things were really there, then God wouldn't exist then. So if you come up and you acknowledge the level, if you come up and acknowledge Satan, you would cease to give God his power. If you acknowledge anything that's not God, you're acknowledging some other thing. So probably the next time something happens, probably in your life or it happens in the world, just know God has let it be. Is this famous saying of Omtonzi Wafe Asalau? It's the truth. Like Omtonzi Asalau, everything that happens. You could look at even the major things that you could be like, okay, is that really good? Yeah, that is good. It is something that's hard to understand, but then it's why probably we are stuck with certain things. Probably if you're going through something, just know it's good. Just have to ask God, dear God, why am I going through this? What are you trying to teach me? What am I learning? And in those moments of probably of self-reflection, of meditation, of all that, the answers will come through. Because the God in you will speak. You could look at probably things that are happening in the world and you wonder, okay, why are they happening? If you look at them keenly, you will understand why they're happening. The poverty, the wars, whatever. This is something that's hard to understand probably if you're going through something, but it is what it is. So you just accept whatever that has happened into your life and you ask God, dear God, why is this happening in my life? What is it trying to teach me? So in those moments of silence, in those moments of meditation, those moments when probably you're alone, you will understand why everything is happening. You could look at the worst things in the world, they're happening because people have deemed so. Like the God in those people think that whatever is happening, like is for the best of themselves. Okay, they have interests in all that. Some could be like probably it could be selfish, it could be whatever, but just know the people that are benefiting. You could look at poverty, you could look at diseases, you could look so many of those things. There are people that are benefiting because all of us are in our own worlds. Supposed to know that okay, what is in my world, what is happening in my world, so that you can understand the rest of the world. Other than that, if you don't know what's in your world, you have a challenge understanding the rest of the world. Probably you're so focused on the outside, so try to focus on the inside to see how you can understand your world so that you can understand the rest of the world. Whatever you call probably bad in your world, understand why it's happening, and you'll be able to understand why other bad things that you call bad in the world are happening also. Peace.